Fair warning, I'm not going to dumb down the language here because that's stupid, and because serious subjects deserve to be talked about seriously and with the appropriate language, even if it's also done in a world-weary tone and maybe an element of humour, because if I don't laugh, I'll cry. So, what is all of this about 62 million men attending some form of online rape academy? Maybe you've seen the headlines being passed about claiming that 62 million men logged on to a rape academy website. That's been bandied about in a lot of places. There's a lot of feminine rage going on, and it's all over the internet, spread as memes or TikToks and so on in particular. Let's not bury the lead. It's not true. What there are revealed in this report are 62 million clicks each month on a website called motherless.com, which is an adult website that caters, perhaps, to the rougher end of the spectrum than Pornhub does these days, and is perhaps a little less filtered and a little more abused than Pornhub is, again, these days. But then Pornhub gets getting on for 3 billion hits per month. And one thing you have to bear in mind here is that only a fifth of Pornhub's clicks are unique visitors. So if we carry that assumption forward, and it's not really that safe an assumption to do so, we'd be looking at about 12.4 million unique visitors to Motherless each month. Though, in my experience, fetish content appreciators are a lot more active and visit and engage a lot more. So, probably not the case. Other online estimates think that Motherless gets closer to perhaps 150,000 unique visitors each month, which is a lot smaller than 62 million. Not that we can assume that all of that 150,000 people are there to enjoy rape porn, given that there are many other kinky delights to indulge in, from BDSM to pee fetishes to incest or step incest for legal reasons, or just about anything else you care to think of. The whole panoply of human degeneracy is there for everyone to enjoy. You can't assume that it's all rape all the time. And even then, there are things like CNC, which is consensual non-consent, a fetish that quite a few men and a lot of women have. Free use, which could be grouped into the same thing as well. A lot of this kind of material is, of course, staged or consensual, the little scenes that people set up, and you can't just assume that anyone into that sort of kink would actually engage in such behaviour without consent. I know it sounds like a contradiction, but it's not. It's like assuming that all the would-be monster fuckers out there would actually follow through if the opportunity came up. Bad example, but you get the point. Plus, the audience is global and not just limited to American men, further diluting the numbers. So even if it were Motherless, which is where the 62 million figure comes from, and it's 62 million hits, not 62 million people, you don't have to worry that fully half of all adult American men have attended a rape academy. Don't be a fucking idiot. You get the point, I hope. All of that difficult math is irrelevant, though, because beneath the attention-grabbing headlines of 62 million, the actual figure for the Rape Academy was less than 1,000 people in a now-closed Telegram chat. Now, I'm not going to go through all the obeisances of telling you that even one person is bad, or that rape is bad, blah blah blah. We all should know all this, and doing the obeisances doesn't seem to make any difference to how people react or how upset they get when you spoil their party by bringing in some facts. So what we actually have then is less than 1,000 men, and probably more women than you'd think, in a sleep sex / drugged sex / rape sex fetish room. Some of whom were probably feds, some CNC fetishists who only do such things with consent but have the kink of it being without consent, and doubtless a handful of actually awful people who might go on to commit rape in some cases, for whom the porn may well have a prophylactic effect. So even if we assume that it's all 1,000 of them, that's about 0.00079% of adult men in the male US population, or 1 in 126,000. I quite like those odds. Now, for pointing this out, and for being, as it turns out rightly, suspicious of this 62 million figure, I'm somehow the bad guy. You'd think people would be happy to discover that they're not surrounded on all sides by would-be rapists after all. But no, apparently it's rape culture, and it means I'm unsafe to be around women because I care about what is true. Because I think that's a basis upon which you have to build to solve problems. Bitch, I have poured thousands upon thousands of pounds, money I didn't really have, months of time, and huge amounts of personal energy, which isn't easy for a crip. My precious time, money, effort, and so on into helping several women escape from abusive relationships. Have you? Why are you so hostile to the fact that this isn't true? Right? It's awful. We should be happy that it's not true, or that it's a far smaller problem than it should be. And saying, oh, even one is too many, yeah, sure, but we live in the real world. People suck. And if we want to minimise that, because you will never entirely eliminate it, we need to be operating on facts. I really, really strongly believe in the power of facts. Have you done anything for women in these situations? Have you had young men who look up to you for some unknown fucking reason, sobbing on the other end of a phone because they can't cope with being treated like monsters anymore just for being what they are? I doubt it. Ultimately, all things must bend to reality. If we want to fix problems like this, we need to start from a position of being accurately informed and proportionate in what we do in exchange. Can you think of reasons why people might want to play up this kind of thing about the internet and protecting the children and protect our women and girls? That's a far-right dog whistle if I've ever heard one. We need to not mindlessly hawk like seals and clap your flippers together and spread nonsense when it doesn't smell right without checking whether it's right or not. I have reason to be deeply suspicious, but it is not a lot of work when you come across these things. If you're spreading this 62 million figure, you are no better than a Facebook grandpa sharing a meme that gay Muslims are going to force children to eat Sharia food or some fucking shit. It's the same exact phenomenon. And this is a big part of why we can't fix anything, why we can't get anything done, why our politics at the moment is so unhinged all over the map. Both wings of the political discourse, if not both wings of politics itself, are hopped up on cheap, surface-level postmodernism and identity politics and a romanticist denial of reality. And so this shit is never going to get fixed. And your moral outrage at something that isn't true is going to be used and abused to, oh, I don't know, censor the internet for grown adults in your country, like what has happened in some places already. Fuck's sake. Yeah. Rape is bad. Do you want to do something about it? Well, we got to start from accurate data. Zang.